Hey everybody, just want to remind you that you can find Facts Not Included on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever else you get your podcasts, whether that be YouTube, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Spotify, or iTunes, or anywhere else. Enjoy the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included, the podcast. I'm your host, Peter Cabranes, and it's just going to be me today. A lot of things happened to me over the weekend, and I just felt like I needed to do this on my own. Nothing happened with the guys. Don't worry, the guys are great. The guys are fine. Antonio actually has seen this movie. I meant to do a show with him, but I'm rushing this one out because I want to get it out there for you guys. So apologies. Antonio could give his rebuttal or his view on the movie if he wants. But that is something that I'm not going to do right now. Anyway, so let's see. Let's talk Captain Marvel here. What to say about this movie? Well, can I first start off by saying a couple things? And I think it has to do a lot with the individuals that wanted to have this movie fail. You failed yourselves. You did not succeed in making this movie fail. And let's get this straight. I want to get this straight. I really, really do. This movie was not created for the intent to hurt men by any stretch. It wasn't to make feminism the number one shouting political view of the MCU. It is everything the opposite that Wonder Woman was. Wonder Woman was that movie. Wonder Woman was the movie that was shouting from the mountaintops, women are superior. And again, who cares if it said that? Who cares if it said that? But Wonder Woman was touting that, you know? It was all about that men... Wasn't there a line in the movie that the Amazonians only need men to procreate? Captain Marvel was not created... The film was not created for that purpose. Yes, Brie Larson said some things, but I think what she was trying to say was, hey, let there be more equality. Let there be more chances for people that do not have a voice, that do not have that chance, that do not have that door open for them. That's what it's about. The movie was not me. Maybe the marketing was seen that way, but the movie's not that. The plot of this movie, the meaning of this movie, is that you have the ability to do what it takes, but you need to find yourself first. You need to figure out who you are before you could conquer the world. That's a very different story than what some people might have been talking about. It's not saying anybody could do it. It's that you have it within yourself. This character, Brie Larson's character, has it within herself to do what it takes. She just needs to figure out how she could accomplish those things. That's what this movie's all about. Now, with that being said, let's see. Is this the best Marvel movie of all time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It didn't need to be. It did not come out in order to be that way. I put this movie in the realm, and a lot of people are doing this. I'm not the only one and the first one to say this. But a lot of people are putting this movie in the realm of an Ant-Man, a Thor, maybe a Thor 1, an Iron Man 1. Well, there's a lot of comparisons to Iron Man in this. That's understandable. It's fine. But this movie's nowhere near, at least for me, a Thor 2, an Iron Man 2. It's not all the way at the bottom. It's not in the top 5. It's very likely not in the top 10. Probably not even in the top 15. But maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't really made my list yet. But who cares? Who cares? That's why I love the MCU. Because there's a movie for everyone. There's that one movie that everyone goes, Yeah, okay, there's Infinity War, there's Avengers Age of Ultron. There's all those movies. The big, big, big ones. But then there's those smaller, what you could consider, I guess, smaller MCU films. An origin story, if you please. That people gravitate towards. Like Guardians, Iron Man 1, Ant-Man, Captain America, the first Avenger, sorry. That's exactly where Captain Marvel fits. It's an origin movie. We didn't know Captain Marvel, as long as she pertains to the MCU, we didn't know anything about her. We didn't know. I don't know much about the character prior to the MCU's iteration, but I don't know much about her in the MCU. I don't know anything about her in the MCU. All I know is that Fury called her. That's it. There's no mention to her ever. But she's being called. And what does that mean? Well, it's very likely that she has what it takes to maybe save the day and fix what's going on. Yes, they change her story for brevity. You know, the idea that we don't have the time to really go into her origin, so we change it up a little bit. She gets her powers from a Tesseract. She does this, she does that. But what I do like what the movie did was that exactly. Giving her powers some meaning. Again, I don't know how she got her powers before. Maybe, I think from what I heard, she was injected with, I don't know. They teased that a bit in the trailers, but they never showed it in the film. The movie had its issues with pacing, I think. The movie was a bit sloppy in regards to how are we going to tell this story. But by no means did her performance take me out. I was hearing people say that she seems like a robot, she's stone-faced, she's not. Listen, guys, she doesn't know who she is. The character is unaware of who she is. So wouldn't you act the same, maybe? Maybe not. But she's unaware of where she's at. She's slowly figuring out. Things are slowly coming back to her. And yes, it's an amnesia story, so not everything, like people were saying, how does she know how to do this? How does she not know how to do that? Like, because, all these things like that. With those specifics, take it for what it is. Don't worry about certain things. Again, it's an amnesia story. Yes, it's how does she know how to speak English? Well, because it's very simple. She even states it in the film that her language is morphed into other languages using a certain type of device that she has. She said it to the security guard. All these things like that. Take it for what it is. You're homping on the things that you shouldn't worry about too much. Maybe what they could have done in this movie is introduce the idea of who she doesn't really find out who she is until she starts talking to her good old time friend in her house. I'm blanking on that character's name. I'm going to look it up. She also winds up playing Captain Marvel, from what I understand, in the comics. The lady that plays Maria Rambeau. She doesn't really find out who she really is until she starts telling her those stories. And that is like an hour and a half in the movie, I think. Something like that. Or an hour and 20 minutes, or an hour in the movie, whatever it might have been. It's really down the line. She doesn't really figure out who she is until then. For some people, that was an issue. For me, yeah, you could have dealt with that earlier. I don't know. I want to be honest. I had a lot of fun when I saw this movie. The last superhero movie I saw did not have fun with it. And it was Aquaman. I was taken out of that movie for the first hour and whatever. This movie, on the other hand, I enjoyed it. Again, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I liked it a lot. And I love Brie Larson as an actress. And I think her performance is exceptional here. For what she needed to do, she accomplished it. Marvel knows how to cast, and they casted well here, I think. She's snarky. I like that with this character. She's a bit snarky. She's a bit all over the place. She's figuring out who she is, and by the end of the movie, she still doesn't know because she's still figuring it out. She's still figuring it out. So there's that. The Skrulls. Something we've been dying to see in the MCU for years. The idea of Skrulls. Now they changed it up a bit here. Skrulls are actually really good people here in this movie. They're refugees. I love that. Change it up. We didn't see this coming. We didn't see that coming. At least, maybe as of course as the movie's going along, you see, but going into the movie, you don't see that happening really. Makes you want to believe that Marvel was good or wasn't good. You don't know throughout the movie. Like maybe she's good, maybe she's not. Did she create that for good or for evil? And so the Skrulls are actually decent individuals. They were captured and they're looking for a place to go, call their home. Their people are scattered all over the planets around the universe. Be that as it may, that they used they were trying to get this power source, and yet they used their other power sources to get to Earth, and thus, I don't know. That was a little like a weird plot thing, but hey, those plot things happen. Anyway, they got the power source, and that's towards the end of the film. I didn't really see that coming until later on, that they were refugees looking for, or that they would wind up being the most perfect people, or at least nice people. You don't really realize that until later on in the movie. You don't get that right off the bat. What's his face? I think steals the movie is Ben Mendelsohn. His character as a Skrull, his CGI performance or motion cap or whatever. Or maybe he was in that suit. I don't know. But his performance is great. I love him in here. He's another jokester. Ben does a great job of making, and that's the other thing. When you hire Ben Mendelsohn, you're hiring a man to play a villain. And so that's another thing going into this movie. Everybody's, okay, the Skrulls, Talos, all right, he's going to play Talos, and he's going to be the villain. He's going to be the bad guy. It's Ben Mendelsohn. You do not hire him not to play the big evil dude. You don't. And then there's a bit of a twist, and Jude Law turns out to be kind of the bad guy and whatnot. So yeah, fun thing that they did there. I don't know. What else? Sam Jackson, decent performance here. He's not. I mean, it's Sam Jackson playing Sam Jackson. Someone pointed this out, and it's an interesting thing. But again, so many years have passed that maybe shit hit the real hard, hit the fan real hard, and that's why he's an asshole. As Nick Fury going forward. But he was a bit too cheery as a Nick Fury here. Maybe because reality didn't really fucking hit him in the face yet. I don't know. But overall, I don't know. I think it's a fun movie. It's a fun time. It's a fun movie. Seeing a Flerken for the first time on screen was great. That was fun to see. I don't understand why so many people were out to attack this movie. I don't get it. There was so much hype going into this movie when it was announced. There was so much hype last year. And then all the negativity hit because she's a woman. I don't get it. Shit on the movie if it's bad. Get on the movie's case if it's a bad movie. Don't get on its case because you haven't seen it yet and you're making these pre-judgments. Don't be prejudiced towards a film you haven't seen. What is wrong with you? I never do that. I might go, okay, I don't, the trailer looks whatever, I don't feel like going to see the movie. But then make Twitter and YouTube videos and all this stuff saying how Marvel's trying to feminize the MCU, and Like, who cares? There's so many female characters that the MCU could go and play with on the big screen. Let them do it. We've had a ton of other male characters. What's wrong with having the female character? And another notion that that really bugs me, and none of this is political, and this is why we need to stop bringing politics into it, because it's not political. Another thing that bothers me is the idea that people have that boys cannot find a hero in all of this. Because it's always, oh, little, they're making this movie so little girls could find a hero. Not only little girls. There are plenty of little boys out there that want just another superhero they could call their own. And if Captain Marvel is that superhero for them, so be it. I gladly rock a Captain Marvel t-shirt. I haven't found one yet in the stores, but I'll gladly rock one. I don't understand that concept and that idea. It just really doesn't make sense to me. I just don't appreciate the flack this movie received for not even coming out yet. I think clearly it all goes into those people's faces because this movie is on pace to make $1 billion. They wanted this movie to fail. And it's just not going to. It's going to just keep going further and further. And it's a good movie. And it's a good movie. And so, it bothers me a lot. Let's see. I'm trying to think of things that happened in the movie that I want to talk about. It's not, and that's the thing. It's not one of those movies that you're going to come out going, oh my God, you remember that moment and this moment and that moment and this moment. There's a lot of action going on, and there was a lot of moments where it wasn't as significant or maybe as memorable. This movie's not as memorable as other Marvel movies, and that's fine. Because again, if you're going to compare it to the movies that I've been comparing it to, same thing there. Antonio mentioned something, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but he mentioned that he had more fun with Ant-Man than with this movie. I agree. Now, I mean, I said I didn't agree with him then when he said it, but I agree now. I get that. I understand what he meant. I don't think I needed to have so much fun with this movie. Me going into this film, and I think I said it earlier, me going into this movie it's all about figuring out who this character is. We don't know who this is. Let's figure who they are, and let's go from there. But a reason I think so many people expected a 10 out of 10 with this movie was because it was coming out just before Endgame. And I think that's what it is. And the idea that she is kind of seen as this last hope for the Avengers is kind of sitting icky with some people. This character that we know nothing about is going to come out of nowhere and just save the day. And that, plus the fact that she's a woman, oh my God, the world, people are so stupid. The first part I slightly agree with. Yeah, this is a character that we don't know about, and they're going to be the one that saves the day. Whoa, careful there. Cap can't let that happen. Iron Man can't let that happen. He won't. They won't, Which is my theories for Avengers is, it seems to me that Thor, Captain Marvel, and maybe Hulk are going to go off on their own mission. Because they weren't in that trailer towards the end, going into what possibly is the quantum realm. They weren't seen in that little moment there, from my recollection. So what does that mean? It probably means they're going to go see Thanos. Going to go fuck him up or something, I don't know. The people that go to the quantum realm are going to go deal with maybe how do we deal with this? How do we mess around with this? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in that movie. Endgame is a big mystery to me. It's a big mystery to most people, but it's definitely a big mystery to me. I don't want to theorize too much about that movie because I don't want it to become a Last Jedi situation, where it's like you theorize so much you don't get what you want. I mean, I got what I wanted in Last Jedi, but anyway, that's besides the point. So again, Captain Marvel, pretty decent movie, pretty good. I like that. I like what they did with Sam Jackson's Nick Fury. The fact that the Flerken got rid of his eye. The fact that the Tesseract is involved in all of this. That the Flerken had it and ate it. The idea that now Captain Marvel is essentially the reason the Avengers Initiative was started. It's kind of interesting that. What does that have to do with the first Avenger being Captain America? It's a little tricky there. I have to rewatch that. Or deal with that, maybe. But I guess he could still be the first Avenger and like he's the first one to join. And yet she gave him the idea for it, but she's technically not in the Avengers Initiative. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that's how they're going to go about it. And that's a pretty good, cool way to go about it. He's the first, but she gave him the idea. I like that. I dig that. I actually kind of want to talk about my experience watching this movie. And it annoyed me quite a bit. A little bit. And I mentioned this, and I tweeted this out. We at Facts Not Included tweeted this out. I went to go see AMC. I went to go see Captain America, Marvel. Oh my god! I went to go see Captain Marvel at an AMC in Staten Island, the only one. And I was sitting in the IMAX room. Nowhere in this theater does it tell you, hey, there's no tables in the IMAX room. Remind you, this is a dine-in theater. The whole theater, all 11 auditoriums have tables. And yet the one that people spend the most money on doesn't have tables. Nowhere in the theater do you let people know, hey, don't order food because you're going to be sitting with it on your lap. Nowhere does it tell anybody that. The only thing it mentions is you can't order alcohol for an IMAX room. Again, that doesn't make any sense. What's so special about that room that alcohol is not able to be consumed within its walls? They got to figure that out. I tweeted to AMC. They said they're going to look into the issue. I don't know, man. It's so weird. It pissed me off because I'm eating a hamburger and fries. I know it's weird movie theater food, but I was really hungry. I didn't eat all that day. I was like, I'm going to the movies. They have food. I'm going to check this out. And boom. I get into the room, and I had already ordered the food, and I get into sit in my seat. Because it's one of those, like, you order before you sit down. So I sit in my seat, and I already ordered, and I'm like, where's the tables? Oh, my God, there's no tables. Oh, it was one of those feelings. And it was just so weird. And they were still bringing food in, like, 30 minutes into the movie. Don't interrupt my movie, man. Bring the food before during the trailers. And that's it. That's it. You should then tell people, hey, you got here late. You can't order food anymore. Something like that. I don't know. Figure some policy out, guys. I love your theater. I really do. I really, really enjoyed my time there. I've been there 3 times already. Figure it out, please. Because I love it. I love you guys. I love you. But anyway, I don't know. I didn't really talk too much about Captain Marvel. It is not, superb. But I had a lot of fun. And I kept telling this to a lot of people. If Captain Marvel, I think, came out 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago in the beginning of the MCU, it would be in the top 10, 15 movies for a lot of people. But being that it came out within the last few, recently, the last few weeks, and we have seen so many extraordinary so many Marvel movies, I think it gets hurt by all of that. But actually, something I want to talk about real quick. I don't know if you guys realized this or felt this while watching the movie, but when all those flashbacks occurred and when all those moments of her dealing with her memory coming back and stuff like that, and slowly getting, that dream sequence that she kept getting, were you guys as confused as I was in moments? Because I didn't know sometimes whether or not they snapped back to the present time or they were jumping up to another moment of her memory. There were moments like that I didn't know exactly what was happening. And so, a minus point for me there for the movie as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Also, I like the way she gets her outfit, her uniform, her costume. The little girl figuring out that they could share the color scheme on from her T-shirt onto there. Listen, it's a movie that empowers women. It's a movie that empowers all of us. Again, let's reiterate this. It is a movie that is letting us know that we have it within us, but we just need to figure out how to get it out of us. We just need to figure out how to awaken that moment, awaken that feeling, and awaken that power that is in us to succeed. And I think that's really what this movie is trying to say. It is also a movie about refugees, a movie about people that are dealing with the hardships of life, dealing with the atrocities and the repercussions of war. And it's not something that is talked about as often, as often as maybe it should be. Again, leaving politics out of it. These are still things that occur. When you place politics within it, you get some issues. But at the surface, these are human beings. Well, in this case, they're Skrulls, and they're dealing with some hard times. And they're good individuals, it seems. Do they wind up helping us out in Endgame? We shall see. We should figure this out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's not really a review. It's more of a discussion, I guess you could call it, of Captain Marvel. Well, there's no tagline. I just wanted to say something, but I have nothing. Anyway, hail the Flurkins. Hope you guys enjoyed this, like I said. Remember, as always, listen with your ears, and remember that the website is coming very soon. Check us out on all of our social medias. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this again. Bye-bye.